Good evening and welcome to Ignite News on 6 at 6. It's Thursday, November 6, 2025. I'm Rihanna Nakram. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. The Ghana Revenue Authority has withdrawn tax evasion charges against Nazar and Azuddin Mohammed, allowing U.S. extradition proceedings to move forward. President Ali is urging citizens to ensure they have active bank accounts, as government prepares to roll out new nationwide support measures before year-end. Lance Corporal Christophe Nobrega has been cleared of the murder charge in the 2022 shooting of Quindon Bacchus, after the court ruled there was insufficient evidence to continue the case. And Fisherfolk nationwide are welcoming the $150,000 cash grant and tax relief on fuel and supplies, calling the support timely and much needed. The Ghana Revenue Authority has withdrawn all tax-related charges against Nazar and Azuddin Mohammed of Mohameds Enterprise, following a formal extradition request from the United States. The charges, which were filed on October 24th, accused the businessmen of underreporting more than $32.6 billion in income from gold exports between 2020 and 2024. In court today, the G.R.A. prosecutor confirmed that the case was being discontinued to ensure the extradition process proceeds in line with international legal standards. The G.R.A. noted that the charges were filed before the U.S. request was received, and that the withdrawal was guided by fairness and comity. Attorneys Sian Dorjan and Damien Da Silva represented the Mohameds. With the charges now dropped, extradition proceedings will move forward. Ghana remains committed to achieving full gender equality soon enough, according to Human Services and Social Security Minister Dr. Vindya Prasad. She was speaking at the national conference reflecting on Ghana's progress in implementing the Beijing Platform for Action, a global framework for advancing women's rights. The event was held yesterday at the Royal International Mall. Ghana's work under this framework has focused on reducing poverty, expanding access to education, preventing gender-based violence, and increasing women's participation in leadership. Dr. Prasad described the progress made so far as part of a transformative 30-year journey.
It was 3 decades of persistent, consistent work by advocates, including many powerful and outspoken women globally, that would have brought us to this point. I want to recognize them, and even though a lot of them are not here, I want to recognize Mrs. Chandrapal, who led the delegation from Guyana at that time to Beijing. Please give all of those persons, including our own, a round of applause.
She noted that while some feel progress is not moving quickly enough, the country remains firmly focused on ensuring women and girls understand they have equal space and equal voice.
I also recognize the remarkable women in this room who would have and continue to champion these causes that all led towards us having, among the countries who were there and who have since continued to work on this agenda of the Beijing Declaration and Platform of Action, continued to work so that we can see the kind of transformation, the kind of progress, and the kind of national infrastructure that exists in our country.
The minister also highlighted institutions like the Women and Gender Equality Commission as key achievements. The conference was hosted in partnership with the Embassy of China and the United Nations system in Guyana. President Dr. Irfan Ali is urging citizens to ensure they have active bank accounts as the government prepares to announce a new round of national support measures before the end of the year.
I'm going to announce before the end of the year a series of measures, not only looking at cash grant, but looking at the total empowerment of every Guyanese, whether you're someone living with disability, the elderly, children, women, small businesses, farmers, you name it, every category.
He said the upcoming rollout will require efficient processing, and having bank accounts in order will ensure payments and benefits reach people smoothly and fairly.
We are digitizing everything. So I'm urging every Guyanese to open their bank accounts. We have already spoken to the banks. You've seen the improvement. You can now open your account online. Very minimal requirement, so there's no excuse. We want every Guyanese to own their own bank account so that this digital transfer would be easy and efficient and, of course, transparent.
Last year, the government provided a $100,000 cash grant to every adult Guyanese. In addition to the Because We Care school grant, the newborn support grant, and other assistance programs implemented since 2020. Dr. Ali said the new measures will be aimed at strengthening resilience, expanding opportunity, and removing barriers that prevent families from improving their quality of life. Further announcements are expected in the coming weeks. One group which has already been identified for support is Guyana's Fisherfolk. The sector is set to receive a major boost, with President Dr. Irfan Ali announcing a $150,000 cash grant for every registered fisher in the country. The support forms part of a broader push to strengthen livelihoods and modernize key productive sectors. The initiative aligns with the government's ongoing national support strategy for food security and income generation. It follows earlier assistance to farmers, including the $300 per bag rice subsidy, which provided more than $2.7 billion in direct relief.
Some fisherfolk would have already received it, and we're going to give $150,000 to every fisherfolk out there to help them as a incentive, a subsidy from the government.
President Ali said the measure reflects his administration's commitment to protecting small producers and ensuring traditional sectors are not left behind as the economy expands.
And to see how we can help our fisherfolk, we had started looking at inputs like fishing, the seine, the material, supporting with no taxes on fuel and other capital equipment that our fisherfolk needed.
The government is advancing its broader food system resilience plan under the Low Carbon Development Strategy 2030, which links climate action with livelihood development. Ghana's fishing industry supports more than 5,000 workers and contributes to agro-processing exports, including shrimp and bangameri. When returned, Lance Corporal de Nobrega is acquitted of murder. Fisherfolk welcome a major grant, and cancer survivors find strength at Kaitro Falls.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
G.R.A. Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose G.R.A.'s Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Welcome back. Police Lance Corporal Christophe de Nobrega was today acquitted of murder. The charge had been brought against him in the 2022 shooting of 23-year-old Quindon Bacchus. The decision came after Justice Gino Prasad upheld a no-case submission made by Nobrega's attorney, who argued that the prosecution failed to present evidence strong enough to support a conviction. The incident occurred during a police sting operation in Hazelton, East Coast, Demerara, where police alleged that Bacchus attempted to flee while carrying an illegal firearm. He was later pronounced dead at the Georgian Public Hospital, with a post-mortem confirming multiple gunshot wounds. Bacchus' death sparked days of protest along the East Coast and calls for accountability. The Police Complaints Authority later recommended that de Nobrega be charged, leading to his indictment. Today's ruling closes the high-profile case more than 3 years after the fatal shooting. Fisherfolk across Ghana are welcoming the announcement that they will receive a $150,000 cash grant, along with tax relief on fuel, seines, and other essential fishing materials. The initiative, aimed at easing the burden within the fish industry, has been met with widespread appreciation, particularly among those struggling with declining catches. When Ignite News visited the Rosignol fisheries in Region 5, several fishermen expressed gratitude for the support, describing it as timely and much needed. Deonan Victor, who has been in the fishing industry for over 22 years, said the assistance could not have come at a better time.
We're happy to get the money, yes, because right now no fish catching. It's a hard time right now for fishermen, you understand? That's something you go out and make a money to care for your family then. But you still got to try, you understand what I'm saying? If you not try, you can't get. So we're happy with the fisherman could do, but the president could do that for you, we're happy.
Similarly, actor Saban, a 25-year-old who has spent the past decade in the fishing trade, said the initiative recognizes the real challenges faced by fisherfolk.
I think it's a good idea. Fishermen do face challenges in many ways. Climate change, where we go out and don't get expense. Sometimes we catch, sometimes we don't catch. It's not an everyday thing. Every day is fishing, but every day is not catching. So I think it's a good idea, the cash grant pay. But we're glad to get it before Christmas.
Veteran Captain Vicky Ramdeen, with 18 years in industry, also commended the move, noting that recent weather patterns have worsened conditions for those at sea.
I think it's gonna benefit we a lot because the fish decline right now a lot, and due to the storm where they passed the other day, we ain't catching back fish like how we used to catch.
Tajramit Waru shared similar sentiments, highlighting how difficult the current season has been.
Well, we got say it's nice because not really going for fisherman right now, and fish not really give push. So if you're doing something, we're really thankful for that.
The cash grant and tax relief measures are part of the government's broader strategy to support Ghana's productive sectors. 10 cancer survivors marked the close of Breast Cancer Awareness Month with a powerful and uplifting journey to Kaito Falls. The annual expedition, now in its third year, was organized by Recover Ghana in partnership with the Ghana Tourism Authority. The trip blended ecotourism with emotional healing, offering survivors a space to reconnect with nature and reflect on resilience after their cancer journeys. Surrounded by the Tenorous Falls and lush rainforests, participants shared stories of courage, healing, and renewed purpose. Survivor Shirmala Churman described the experience as a celebration of life, while 13-year survivor Trudy Cummings said visiting Kaichor was a dream come true. Another participant, Harmoneto Andrew, said the moment made her feel like anything is possible. Recover Ghana President Dr. Dave Laltu thanked the GTA for its support, calling the journey a deeply human experience of strength, survival, and connection. With recent reports of bee attacks claiming lives, local beekeeper Neil Grant is stressing the importance of knowing how to react when faced with aggressive swarms. At this year's Honey Fest, the veteran beekeeper, who has over 15 years of experience, shared practical advice on how to stay safe during bee encounters. He noted that remaining calm and moving away from the area quickly can reduce the risk of multiple stings and serious injury, while understanding bee behavior can help prevent future incidents. Grant explained the first steps people should take if bees become aggressive.
Normal recommended course of action is to try to get as far away from the bees as possible. Some people recommend going into water, but that's not a real recommended option because unless you can swim and stay underwater and make distance from where you went down, the bees will circle on top of the water and wait until you come up.
He also shared why bees continue to pursue a person even after the first sting.
What happens when you get stung by a bee? That bee leaves a mark or a tracker or a venom, a pheromone in you, and you are marked as the attacker or as a threat. So all the bees follow that scent and they come to attack you. So the best thing to do is to try to make as much distance as you can from the hive. If you can't get away, then get into an enclosed space. You get a car nearby, lock the car up if you're in a home, go under your netting in the house, and try to make distance.
Grant warned that without proper safety measures and a calm, quick response, a bee attack can easily turn dangerous, emphasizing that awareness and preparation can save lives. When we come back, a night of action on the indoor hockey court, a T20 thriller as New Zealand levels the series, and Manchester United responds to criticism.
Your business is built on hard work, vision, and the drive to succeed. At GBTI, we understand what it takes to grow. That's why we offer Grow, a small business service designed to help your business expand, adapt, and reach its full potential. From new opportunities to new milestones, we're here to support you every step of the way. Grow from GBTI. Progress starts here.
You're watching Night News on 6 at 6. Thanks for staying with us. Night 2 of the National Indoor Senior Open Hockey Championships was full of thrills. It was a night of commanding performances at the National Indoor Senior Open Hockey Championships. In the women's division, GBTI GCC dominated National Over 40 with a 7-2 victory. Abusedi Cadogan led the charge, scoring an impressive 5 goals, while Rebecca Ferreira added 2 more. National Over 40 still found the net through Maria Monroe and Shebeki Baptiste. In other matchups, Saints and Old Fort played to a 0-0 draw in a tightly defended game. Old Fort Inferno then edged Hikers 4-2, with late goals from Carlin Dean securing the win. Minnesota Culpepper and Kitana Percival also contributed. But the biggest statement of the night came when National Over 40 returned to the turf and delivered a 9-0 rout of Hikers. Mono recorded a hat trick supported by goals from Kerensa Fernandez, Vanessa Pierce, Baptiste, and Tiffany Solomon. Championship play continues this week as teams push for division titles. Mark Chapman blasted a stunning 78 off just 28 balls to lift New Zealand to a 3-run victory over the West Indies in the second T20 International at Eden Park, tying the series 1-1. Chapman smashed a 19-ball 50, the fastest of his T20 international career, as New Zealand posted 207 for 5, with support from Tim Robinson, who made 39. The West Indies reply looked doomed at 93 for 6, but Rodman Powell with 45 and Romario Shepherd with 34 launched a fierce late comeback. They took the chase to the final over, needing 16 runs, but Powell's dismissal proved the turning point as Kyle Jamieson held his nerve to close out the match. For New Zealand, Mitchell Santner and Ish Sodhi were key, taking 3 wickets each to break the West Indies' momentum. Matthew Ford shone again for the visitors with 1 for 17, but the rest of the attack struggled. The win snaps the West Indies' 5-match T20 international streak and sets up a deciding final match in the series. Manchester United head coach Ruben Amorim has acknowledged that the club has made a lot of mistakes in the past, but urged focus on rebuilding rather than dwelling on previous failures. His comments came ahead of United's Premier League clash with Tottenham, following Cristiano Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan, in which Al Nassr striker said Amorim could not work miracles and questioned the mentality of some United players. While Amorim did not directly address Ronaldo's remarks, he admitted the club is undergoing significant change, emphasizing improvements in structure, culture, and player behavior. "We are trying to change that. Let's not focus on what happened," he said, calling for unity and progress as United continues its rebuilding process under his leadership. Still ahead, Jamaica works to safeguard food supplies after Hurricane Melissa. Major price cuts coming for top weight loss drugs in the U.S., and world leaders set the agenda ahead of COP30 in Brazil. Welcome back. Jamaica's health authorities say food safety has become a top priority in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. Director of the island's Environmental Health Unit, Michael Williams, says inspectors have already carried out 2,000 food assessments and condemned 5,000 kilograms of spoiled rations, and those numbers are expected to grow. Williams told a health cluster meeting in St. Andrew the teams are monitoring how food is prepared in shelters and ensuring that animals washed away by flood waters are safely disposed of to prevent contamination. He noted that thousands of chickens drowned on farms, and none of those should enter the food chain. With major agricultural regions heavily impacted, Jamaica will rely more on imported foods in the coming weeks. Williams says strict inspections will be enforced at all points of entry. The ministry's priority is to prevent foodborne illnesses and protect displaced communities throughout the recovery phase. In international news, some blockbuster obesity drugs will soon cost as little as $149 a month, and more Medicare enrollees will have access to them under new deals announced by the Trump administration with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. The agreements lower prices on popular GLP-1 drugs, the same class as Ozempic, Wegovy, and Zepbound. The current list prices run between $1,000 and $1,350 a month. Under the deal, people who buy injectables directly from the companies will initially pay about $350, dropping to around $250 over 2 years. If oral versions are approved, the lowest dose will cost $149 when the Trump RX direct-to-consumer website launches in early 2026. Eligible Medicare enrollees will pay $50 co-pays for certain GLP-1s used to treat obesity alongside diabetes or cardiovascular disease. About 10% of Medicare patients could qualify. In exchange for lower prices, drug makers will get tariff relief and faster regulatory reviews. The companies have also agreed to reduce prices for Medicaid, though states' timelines will vary. Finally, this evening, world leaders are in Belém, Brazil, for a 2-day summit ahead of the COP30 climate conference, with around 60 heads of state in attendance. The meeting marks the launch of Brazil's Tropical Forest Forever facility, aiming to mobilize $125 billion to protect tropical forests, with Brazil pledging the first billion. The agenda includes forest and ocean protection, energy transition, and the 10-year review of the Paris Agreement. But the tone is urgent. During the opening today, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned leaders, "We can't choose to lead or be led to ruin. calling on corporations profiting from climate damage.
We need a paradigm shift to limit these overshoots' magnitude and duration and quickly drive it down. Even a temporary average overshoot will have dramatic consequences. It could push ecosystems past irreversible tipping points, expose billions to unlivable conditions, and amplify threats to peace and security. Every fraction of a degree means more hunger, displacement, and loss, especially for those least responsible.
Brazil's President Lula said the world needs a just plan to undo deforestation and move beyond fossil fuels. China's Vice Premier Deng Zhujiang called for true multilateralism and freer trade in green technology, while Britain's Prince William urged courage, saying the world is dangerously close to tipping points. And Chile's President Boric criticized leaders who denied the climate crisis. The U.S. has sent no representative, while European leaders arrived after seeing a last-minute climate deal for 2040. The full COP30 conference opens Monday and runs through November 21st. And that's all for this edition of Ignite News on 6 at 6. For more stories, visit ignitenews.com or follow us on social media. Thanks for watching. I'm Rihanna Nekram. See you tomorrow for more Ignite News.